what we're saying is 3 of us are professionals.
And we're going to let the audience listen to the quality of our voices and decide who wasn't.
Right. So, episode 23.
23.
Dave,
Yes.
will you turn your camera on? What in
First
the
time
world?
ever. I've got sun in my face, so look.
Yeah, but
Once the sun, it's about to go above the window sill. So, episode 23, Mel, let's keep the background chatter to a minimum. And it looks like there might be snow in the forecast coming back. I looked at the reports here. We're Christmas Eve today. I looked at all the ski reports, and everybody that we ski at got like 1, 2, or 3 inches. So nothing big to
Overnight.
write home about. So a little disappointing, but I saw that there's snow in the forecast, 4, 5, 6 inches Friday, and then an inch or so every other day for a few days. So it looks like things might be on the mend. And a reason I bring that up is like 5 days ago on Friday, we skied Copper Mountain, and over a week ago we skied Copper Mountain, and we did a podcast and we said how great it was. But then, so that was on a Monday. We skied Copper Mountain on that Friday, and it sucked. Like it could be worse, but I don't.
It wasn't as good as it
recall-
was the previous day. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I don't recall that big of a decline in snow quality without like a really identifiable weather, like really warm weather or whatever. And they even got a few inches one day that week, but then Friday, the rocks were back. It had really firmed up. But we did have a super exciting run, which was, I think, our second run of the day. There was a little bit of weirdness on the mountain that we tried to ski over to the T-bar, but the little catwalk was closed over to the T-bar, so then we had to ski down. And I think that was a little bit of a miss on the ski area's part, that they had the catwalk closed off, so everybody had to go down Mine Dump.
And to be clear, it was only closed off for 50 feet of the catwalk because it was unroped and being currently skied on like 50 feet down.
Yeah.
So it was just like a little section that was freshly snow made. It wasn't like, I don't know. It was interesting.
It was
And I
weird
don't mind
because
skiing Mine Dump first, but I know a lot of the people that were on Mine Dump at that time. And so everybody that got off like the Super B you either went back towards Andy's Encore or you essentially went down Mine Dump, which is a bump run, which we really like, but a lot of people you could see had gotten steered into that somewhat unintentionally.
You could
and
see it
looked
on
like
a lot
they
of
were struggling.
faces that they were like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh. You know
Yeah.
whose face you could definitely see it on was mine, because it was our first run of the day. I always want to do my warm-up runs, and I was like, you know what? The T-bar, actually, that run, what's it called? The one that you go right down the side of it, of the T-bar?
I thought it was like
Hallelujah
Hallelujah
Ridge.
Ridge. Yeah.
Okay, so Hallelujah Ridge is still a good, even though it's a black or a double black, it's still a good, no bumps. It's a good warm-up run, but that is not where we went. And then the way the rope line went down Mine Dump, it kept looking like you could cut to the left, I'm sorry, and get onto what would probably be a blue black maybe, it looked like it was groomed. So I just kept going down, kept thinking I could get cut over, and in the end I had to do the bump run all the way to the bottom, and for me and my knees that was not a great way to start the day.
it's so funny because I saw a ton of people that got funneled into that top of Mine Dump. And I saw so many, especially like snowboarders, fully take their snowboard off and walk back up the hill to get back to like Andy's Encore.
Yeah, and again, it seemed like I doubt the ski area like did that intentionally, or whoever did that
Yeah.
had thought it through, of sending people that in general thought they were going to a blue square down a black diamond bump run. But Needless to say, so it didn't kill anybody, or not that we're aware of, and it wasn't a big deal. We skied mine dump, but it wasn't near as good as it was 5 days earlier. Now there was rocks, and it was because of this explosion in traffic. It was bulletproof, but that was leading me on. So then we rode up the accelerator, and then we could get over to the Palma. And then we rode the Palma up, and without thinking, the first time I'd ever seen that new entrance to Upper Enchanted Forest was open. And probably if you'd just done the math on the time of year and thought about what Upper Enchanted Forest might be like, we might have skipped it. But we went into Upper Enchanted Forest, and it was the first risk your life on your skis run of the year, because it was absolutely bulletproof. And this is a solid 45 degrees in the trees with no chance of self-arrest if you fell. And then we joked you wouldn't only get skinned up, but you'd get dirty, like lots of patches of dirt and stuff like that. So that was an exciting way to start the day, Upper Enchanted Forest, which is one of my favorite runs at Copper Mountain, but it is not ready for prime time.
Yeah. Bulletproof and light coverage for sure.
Light coverage. But that got the blood pumping.
It did.
It was exciting.
Did.
A lot of people would be like, "Oh man, this sucks," but I had a good time. It was a welcome challenge to get around all the mud and dirt.
Yeah, and so steep too. I was like, just don't crash, because there's zero chance you would be able to anchor up on anything but a tree, which is not the game plan. So anyway, I just thought it was weird how in 1 week of, it's December, so it didn't get hot or anything like that. The snow quality had gone way downhill, from what I would say was like an A to like a C plus, so it wasn't terrible. And for December, having so much open, and I thought Rezo was still good, but we started hitting rocks there too. But we had a good time. And then, of course, we operate at JJ's afterwards, which is always good, although the Brie Burger wasn't what I remembered it.
I actually had a better run on Rezo this time, because honestly, it was probably just because my legs weren't as sore and tired, because we hit it like the last time. And I feel like this time we hit it maybe not first by any means, but I had done significantly less to be exhausted. And so I feel like I did better on Rezo.
And Dylan was with us, and the snowboarder was on skis.
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
We've skied a couple times, and Dylan has been on skis each time. So not that honestly we care, but he's turning into a really good skier. And whether it's Upper Enchanted Forest or Cabin Shoot or whatever, he's right there on the tail. I have
paid Kate to hide his snowboard, so
nice.
I do need to get a new one, so that's okay.
Wait, a new snowboard?
So yeah, someday soon. This thing is old because it's old.
Remind me what you were telling me about your jacket yesterday.
It's from when I was 16 years old.
Yeah, and your helmet.
Right. And my helmet. Yeah, Marcus is like, it'd be fun to have a retro vintage day, and I'm like, you're looking at it.
Dylan is not the most fashionable person on the mountain.
Nope,
that is for sure.
But I think his fashion is leveling up. Am I not correct that you have a new piece of gear that is coming as part of your holiday festivities?
I mean, I asked Santa, so we'll see.
For a helmet.
Santa's
Fingers
big
crossed.
Into skiing. So.
For a helmet.
So,
yeah, that should level me up pretty quick.
All in all, Copper Mountain, we're happy to be back there. And then, again, since the podcast is all about me, I got new skis. I mentioned that on the last podcast, but I hadn't skied on them yet. And so I got to ski on these Black Diamond. Oh, man, I can't even remember the name. Blah, blah, 98. Starts with an I, like Inspire or something like that. And they're great.
Blah, blah, 98s.
They're super lightweight. They're super lightweight, a little flimsy, but great for hard snow. Really was able to ski with an edge, and that's probably going to be potentially my main ski this year. I don't think that ski allows you to go back and forth with other skis because it's so different. It's so lightweight. it's such a different ski. It's really probably halfway between a skin and ski and a front side ski. But and I wish I could remember the name. Inspire
Well, I think we
98s
should
is
just
what we'll
name
call
this
them.
episode the Black Diamond blah blah
The
98.
the blah blah 98.
The blah blah.
I highly
98s.
recommend them. Let's put it that way. So obviously,
Yeah,
and
just Google
skis-
black magic or black diamond.
Black
yeah, I
Magic.
think you
Dip,
would
wrong
come up, 'cause-
podcast.
Is it Impulse? Is it
Yes,
Impulse?
it is the Impulse 98. Not to be confused with the Impulse 98 Ti. Because they have like a titanium version. So I got the budget version. And I think, as I mentioned, these were $300 skis, new from Black Diamond. 3 days into them. I like them. I think they're going to be a hit this year. But like I said, they don't seem to lend themselves to like skiing on a quiver, which is a collection of skis, because these are so different and so lightweight. I did notice my fitness improved immediately from skiing on a ski that's this light and this responsive, that it didn't take as much energy. So anyway, we'll keep people in the loop on new skis and stuff like that. But I think that was a good upgrade from the Mindbender 98s. So, which is kind of another all mountain ski.
Hey, but I don't know. Do you want to tell the story about your mind benders, what their new life is going to look like after you've moved on?
No, but I do want to. I don't know what you.
Not gonna
I don't know
tell
what
that
you
Oh,
mean.
that when you were like, "Hey, can you guys just recycle them for me?"
Yeah,
And
but better than that is what happened when I did. So Ski Deals called me and said, your skis are ready, but there's a problem. One of your bindings is broken. And they swapped out the toe piece on my binding. Now, I had an atomic toe piece, and they swapped it out with a Solomon, but they're the exact same binding. A lot of these, we've talked about this on the podcast before. A lot of these manufacturers share designs. They just basically put their logo on the same binding. The Guardian's one of those. And this one is also that way. So they gave me a whole new toe piece. So now I have an atomic toe piece on my right and a Solomon toe piece on my left. But yeah, and then they're going to recycle one of the skis was in good enough condition that they said they might be able to reuse it where the other one was broken. So the Mindbenders, except for the Deb Armstrong skis, the Mindbender era is drawing to a close.
I assume
But,
you would be willing to go back to it, though, right? You liked them that much?
Yeah, they were a great ski at price. And you know what's funny is I felt like last year they were everywhere on Facebook Marketplace and everywhere that you could find them really cheap. Like the 116 version of them that we bought were $300, which is, I think, a good number to spend on skis. I know ski shops, their jaw just dropped when they think that people are out there shopping for $300 skis. And the Mindbenders weren't that, but they only lasted one season and they had a catastrophic failure, which didn't affect the way the ski skied, but nobody would ever work on it again. And so essentially it was to the point where they needed to be tuned and they needed to be fixed up, but nobody would work on them. So I replaced them. But Mel,
what
you
I
were
thought
saying,
was cool that instead of everything just landing in the landfill,
Yeah.
that they keep these things. So if somebody like you were to come in where you had that one ski with a problem, now they can be like, oh yeah, but you know what? We have another one that we could mount, and here's how much we would charge you the labor, and they, give the used part away for free. And I think that's a really cool, kudos to Epic Mountain Sports for not just putting everything in a landfill, for recognizing that some of this stuff can be reused and doing it.
yeah, I agree. And they could have went at me for like new bindings, and they probably would have had me in a pretty good position that if I want to send my bindings back to be warranted, that stuff takes like half a season, if not all season. So then you're out those skis for the year. And they could have put me in that position. Instead, they were like, here's a replacement part. But that's why I go there. I mean, that it's a simple equation. That's why I go to Epic Mountain Sports here in Boulder, which used to be Boulder Ski Deals. And it's in
And
the like,
just in case anyone's trying to Google this, Epic Mountain Gear.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sure Epic Mountain Sports wouldn't have gotten them there. So anyway, life is good with new skis. Not as good for everybody, just ski news. And if you probably watched any news, because I saw it was on CNN, but the gondola at Winter Park broke down and they had to like rope rescue everybody. So they put a harness on you and they lower you down one gondola at a time. And I don't know if I've always like been rooting for chaos, but I always wanted to be a part of that. You know, that's something I've always wanted to get
Just
to
experience.
try. Yeah, and I've been on a lift for a couple hours before, but never to the point where they threw in the towel. And it was a big crack, like it was well covered on social media, which I'm sure the ski areas hate. There was a big giant crack in like one of the maintained towers, like on the cross support. But they had like a new one and replaced it, and I think, I'm not positive, but I think it's ready to be open again if it's not already open. Tough time
I think
of
it's
year.
already open.
Tough time of year for Winter Park to have their gondola break down, but we talked about this last year. Their stuff is aging. And that gondola is modern, so you know it's unfair to be like all their stuff is, but last year it was the one lift on the backside, I can't remember, that was broken down and taking every other
something wind.
Eagle Wind.
Eagle Wind
Eagle
lift.
Wind,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Was broken down, had issues. And so, I hope it's not systemic because we do love Winter Park, but yeah, they've made the news a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, and there's been, we've been talking about this, there's been several other incidents just this year that have been in the news, even like widespread news, not just ski circles involving lift accidents.
Yeah. And just the other day at Heavenly, a chair, I mean, it's, again, I don't want to, there's not enough information out there, but there's a photo and it looks like a chair detached from the cable and then slid down the cable and collided with the chair behind it. And then, if I'm not mistaken, it ejected some people off the chair. So a significant accident. And I think they make the news.
Hurt.
Yeah.
Like NBC had an article about it as well.
And I think these things make the news. Like, I don't think lifts are unsafe, although one of the things we were going to talk about today is the bar, that there's also been a myriad of stories of people falling off the chairlift to just in the last couple weeks here in Colorado. And then the conversation comes up about the bar, which, you know, I know our last episode, we just made fun of the guy that wanted to put the bar down before we left the ground. But the more we hear about these accidents, the more, you know, I think that it probably is time to make the bar a more, I don't know, okay
cool
thing. Yeah.
Make it cool. Make the bar cool again.
I don't mind the bar. I don't like the footrest because everybody has to be in these exact seats. And again, none of this is hard, but it just so happens you get on the chair, you're not in those exact seats, and then the bar's coming down, so it's going to come down on your thigh. And it's a weird thing because, like, a lot of time, and jokingly, every time a chair scoops us up, we're like, bar down. But we're not really putting the bar down. We had the bar down yesterday at Loveland, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But we skied Loveland yesterday. And I think with these accidents fresh on everybody's mind, bars are super popular.
Do you know what I personally like is sometimes bars will have like a big like plexiglass map of the mountain. And I personally love that. I like nerding out on mountains. And even if it's a place I know really well, I like to look at maps.
The Super Bee has that.
The Super Bee does? I love that. And sometimes they get a little bit crowded with like QR codes and ads from last season for some rental shop or dinner, but the map is a great idea. I would look at that every lift if it was there.
I agree. And maybe it's just me. My only complaint is the footrest part. That it's just a lot of stuff going on down there. Where when
I got to be honest, when I'm snowboarding, I like the footrest. It's a welcome addition.
Yeah, and I know that Ryan Kelly likes the footrest.
His boots don't fit.
Well, if you have to unbuckle your boots every time you go up a ski lift, it's probably not the right set of boots.
It's probably not the right boots. That's true. We can talk about that another time. We'll let Ryan defend himself on that. Although I did send him the link. He's out of the country.
Yeah, he was
right
on
now.
the thread just because he's like 5 a.m. where he's at right now.
So we did just mention we went to Loveland yesterday, and yeah, I mean, I love Loveland. I love the vibe. I love everything from easy parking to the ticket window, really easy and friendly people at the ticket window and stuff like that, but not completely open. Cat's Meow, Tiger Tail, Avalanche, all those weren't open, although it looked like they had been open. Because they were skied
Is that
off,
the
they were
runs
closed.
directly under the Chet Stream lift?
Under Chet Stream.
Yeah,
which,
those
and we
look
talked
awesome.
we talked about this last year when we skied Loveland. Chet Stream is just the neatest chairlift. It's a 4-man detachable quad that it lasts like 3 or 4 minutes, but it takes you 1,000 vertical feet up. So a lot of bang for the buck. And I think we had our AI bot from broadcasting do the math last year on what was the most bang for the buck. And I know Chet's Dream was like in the top 10 for vertical rise in the least amount of time, which it does equal good skiing. You know, if you can bang out 1,000 vertical feet of rise in like 3.5 minutes is what I think it is. That beats like the 6-man lift at Eldora on the front side, which also does 1,000 vertical feet, but in more like 6 minutes. And that has a lot of bang for the buck. But Chet's Dream is remarkable. You are not on the lift long enough to have a meaningful conversation, and then you're at the top of the mountain, basically.
It is surprisingly fast. Absolutely.
And we skied with the Schusters yesterday, and that meant we had a group of 6
10.
or 7, something like that. So as you know, and it's very first lift, let's all meet at chair 6, and then somebody in our group who won't be mentioned heads back to Chet's Dream. And I feel like that was almost the whole day was a little bit of that. Just I thought we were going to Ptarmigan. Nope, we're going to chair 6.
In my defense, because
I didn't say your name.
I know.
No one said it was you, Mel.
I just wanted to say, in my defense, I buckle my boots at the top of the first run. I never unbuckle them again the whole day, but I ride the chairlift up and then I secure my boots. And you guys all said where you were going before I connected with the group. So I just assumed we were going back where we started. And I thought I was behind everyone and didn't realize, in fact, I was in front of everyone.
Yeah, and I do remember that you were like, you did say something like, I was just trying to keep up with you guys. And we're like, you were in front of us. So.
And then
I thought you said we were going to the car again.
Yeah, okay, I was about to say. And then the next run, I heard them say, we're going to the car again. And I was like, oh, well, that's weird. Okay, well, I'll meet you guys at the Ptarmigan lift. And that's what they had said was the Ptarmigan lift, not we're going to the car again. Or Siri heard them say, we're going to Target again. So Siri was confused too. So it
became the Target again lift. We're going to Target again.
But
just said Siri's name and they responded.
Yeah, props for Loveland. They need more snow. Everybody needs more snow. Everybody always needs more snow. I mean, that's just like to say that is just given. But I was disappointed, and not to take anything away from Loveland, but it's our second time. You know, we went last year, we went this year, and we just haven't hit good conditions, or we haven't hit, you know, the mountain being all the way open and get to give it a true quality review. But we had a great time. The Schusters are all good skiers and snowboarders, And so we had a good pace yesterday. Like we kept moving at a good pace, and I thought that made for a fun day.
It did. And I would also like to say one of the things now that the Schusters have come 2 years in a row and we've done Loveland back to back, we bought the Gyms Pass again this year and had a great experience with we did buy one, get one. And you just pop right up to the window and the whole thing is so easy. Like you have to validate before you get on site on the website. They verify that they have enough of the Gyms Pass so you can get yours, and then you just show up, and they made it really easy. So kudos to Jim's Pass and Loveland for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Gyms Pass is pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. 150
for
bucks for 2 tickets, which that's unbelievable. So yeah, and Mel, good point. Kudos to the Gyms Pass, because we've repeatedly talked about how skiing is unaffordable. We make it a priority. And unfortunately with skiing these days, that's what you have to do to be in the game, is financially make it a priority. But things like the Gyms Pass, we could do that 2-for-1 at Monarch. We could do that 2-for-1 at Ski Cooper and many other ski areas. So it really is awesome. So that's our second year in a row to have the Gyms Pass. And we just took a QR code up. You buy the Gyms Pass, $50, and then you just take a QR code up to the window. And then they knew what we were there for. They were like, you getting the 2-for-1 tickets? And we're like, yep. And so, yeah, all in all, kudos to the Gyms Pass and big kudos to Loveland.
Yeah, and you had mentioned this earlier, but the people at the ticket window were awesome. The guy that Dylan and I got our tickets from was just super friendly. Like you said, knew the assignment, knew what was going on with the Gyms Pass. It was like a minute to get tickets once we got to the window. It was awesome.
Yeah, I had less of a quality experience. It wasn't the guy behind the ticket window was amazing, but there's 4 windows open. There's somebody at each window, and then there's a line that starts like 5-10 feet back from there, which was only 5 or 6 people deep. So it's one line. It's like the car wash scenario. One line and then 4 stalls. And so in maybe 2 minutes, I got up to the front of the line where the next window that opened up was me. And some guy like just cut in line. And I don't think he could see. I think it was confusing for him, but I just walked away with my tail between my legs. Like I typically want to be more assertive and be like, hey buddy. But also we talked about this, like skiing is very mental, very positive. And I was like, I'll let it go. And I was happy that when I got up to the ticket window, at least the guy at the window had noticed what happened, because this guy was in the wrong place. So whatever he asked, he just asked a question and then went on. So but I got stone cold cut off.
Some people are not aware of their surroundings, and it shows.
Yes, true.
Yeah, I think that's what this was. It was a lack of awareness. So, any other comments on Loveland? Overall, like I said, I wish there was more open. Skiing's developing great this year, but I'm ready to ski like advanced skiing like all day. So we didn't get too much advanced skiing in. But I did get a chance to, and this is some good advice. Like if the kind of terrain you want to ski isn't necessarily available, you can take like any blue or green run and practice. And I felt like I've been working on my left turns. I just became aware with these new skis, especially, that my left turns don't carve as well as my right turns. Like my right turns are like on a rail and the skis don't slide at all. And my left turns, it's not a lot of sliding, but the skis are definitely not on a rail. So I worked really hard on that yesterday, trying to just make my left turns equal to my right turns. I don't know if I made any progress or not, but the traction of the snow yesterday was excellent. Like, so it wasn't icy. It was grippy. And I have new skis with edges, so that helped. But it was grippy, so you really could work on turns yesterday all day.
I appreciated that a lot. I had a good time. I was doing the same thing, and it was a nice low-key day just to ski. Enjoy skiing for skiing's sake.
I've been working a lot on pole planting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I noticed that, actually. I was thinking to myself yesterday how amazing Dylan and Marcus's skiing is. And I watched Dylan literally just right behind Dave on one of the bump runs. And I was thinking to myself that the two of you are amazing skiers. Like you are awesome. And
Thank
I
you.
look at Dave because I've watched him ski for 34 years. So I already know that he is an amazing skier, but it's fun to watch other people like get into it and truly love it, who it wasn't a passion, at least for Marcus, I know, until, it's just been a few years.
Yeah, for sure. It's really funny too. I can't remember what episode it was, but one of the episodes of the podcast, I talked about how I feel like I've gotten to be a really, really good skier. And I definitely have intentionally reminded myself it's the whole Dunning-Kruger effect that I'm now good enough that I think I'm better than I am. So I'm intentionally trying to work on things that I know I'm less than good at, so that I can keep improving rather than just being like, yeah, I'm the best, I can do whatever, and then, eat a tree.
I think that's for everybody in skiing. Um, where you think like this year, like you think you're developing along and then you end up in Upper Enchanted Forest and the verdict was not ready for EX skiing, and I hate the term EX, but that's an act. If you're going to use the EX moniker, Upper Enchanted Forest with 4 inches of snow on it is EX.
Yeah, true.
And
Yeah,
so you
really
realize
watch
how
out for those
far
rocks.
you have to go. But one funny thing that did happen yesterday is I did notice Dylan following me a few times yesterday, and I think Marcus was following Dylan or following me. And I took this turn into the trees, and right as I took a turn into the trees, I saw a skier ski through this dry patch and wipe out. And so then my options were absolutely limited, but then it just turned into a log jam, and I was like the last person to slip through before it got all jammed up.
And then it closed the doors.
And
Yeah,
then it closed the doors, and I came out of the trees and looked back, and I knew they weren't getting through because I saw that chaos was like the one person was down on a tree trail, which not a lot of room. And then there was no way I could have stopped. So I just took the high line or the low line. I don't remember, but I knew nobody else was coming through that. And it just was funny when I came out, I looked back and I was by myself.
I like how everyone knew exactly what happened right as it happened, because when that door closed, I mean, I came to a dead stop and looked back, and just Marcus and I just make eye contact and laugh. See ya.
Evan was in there with us too.
Loveland gave me my first big crash of the year. Dylan saw it. It was not. I woke up very sore this morning. That was a real crash.
Yeah, I didn't see the crash, but I saw the aftermath, and I was concerned because you didn't pop up or signal that everything was okay. But it happens. You build up a tolerance to it like anything else.
Yeah, it was funny because when I crashed, it took me a second to I don't know, get myself oriented. And then I looked down the hill and I said, "Did you guys see that?" And Dylan was like, "I did. Yes, I did. That was not pretty."
It was epic. It was like kind of slow motion. And I knew there was one of two scenarios. Either you were totally okay because you kind of came down pretty controlled and slow, or it kind of looked like you might have just taken a Volkswagen bump to the chest and you were trying to catch your breath. And I was like, I don't know which one it is.
Well, it was funny because my ski just went into the mogul. So then you just stop, right? There's no forward movement from that. Your ski is in the mogul. And what it really did was my ski should have come off and it didn't. So it tweaked my right leg all the way from my knee to my hip. And I think that's why I'm sore this morning. But it was good to remind myself that you can fall and it's fine. You're fine. It's okay. You can move forward and still ski the rest of the day, like a real fall.
Yeah, I fell in the trees yesterday, and the snow's not packed enough in the trees to get your pole to not go all the way down to the earth. And as I kind of joked about, my biggest fear is I was having a hard time getting back up because I was in this little hole Yeah, I had a quadruple pump, and then I finally realized like there was no way I was going to get back up. So I had to like scooch myself to the edge of like the mogul so I could stand up. But I felt inept, which I'm sure I looked inept. But yeah, it wasn't a bad crash, but I got stuck in the trees for a few minutes.
The one thing I want to go back on just for a few steps is I feel like for me personally, skiing is like any sport, or maybe even more than just sport. You know, same as running, same as biking, same as swimming. It's so nice to be able to, like, I learn so much faster when I'm with people that are better than me. And
Yeah.
I make a point to follow Dave, and just like, I know that when I try to follow Dave's tracks, they're like not the tracks that I mentally and physically naturally want to take. They're always like twice as many turns. And, you know, I think it helps me so much to be able to like, I'm going to follow his track and just try to be in his mindset and put my pole where he puts his pole. And I feel like it helps me grow so much faster. So go with people that are better than you, I think, is a good recommendation I give.
Yeah, I agree.
Man,
There were
that
some
makes me
times.
Go ahead.
There were some times yesterday where it was Dave, Dylan, and then me all trying to follow exactly in the same line.
And that makes me feel bad because I was like trying to steer you guys into hazards and stuff. I knew you were following my track. So there were some times that you probably saw me like shoot into the trees and then come right back out and go right back into the trees.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, if you're going to follow my track, we're going to have a fun track. And that's where the tree log jam of piled up people came from.
Mm-hmm.
That I was like, oh yeah, in here there's nowhere near enough snow. And so that cracks me up because I knew you guys were following me yesterday, so I tried to make it as chaotic as possible. Because I usually ski a fairly direct line. Like I just go to the side of the run and ski down. And if you noticed yesterday, it was like in the trees, out of the trees, through the grass, over the rock.
Yeah. There was a lot of times where you split the uprights with hazards on the trail.
Yeah.
And you were just like, I'm not going to go in this big open area. I'm going to go right through these two rocks. That makes a lot of sense now.
Oh, that cracks me up. So
I'm
kudos to
laughing because
Loveland. We got to come back sometime when Loveland's got more snow so we can ski more of the mountains. So we have the gyms pass so we can go back. But I think one of the things that dooms us at Loveland is when they're full up on snow, so is everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, that we have ski passes and stuff like that. And we went to Loveland to ski with the Schusters yesterday. And like I said, there's a family from Kansas that are all pretty good skiers and snowboarders. And I don't get how you
impressed.
go once or twice a year and then go 3 days in a row. Like maybe it's because of my age, but JJ's my age. That just seems like I struggled skiing 3 times last week this early in the season because we skied hard. Like we skied moguls and stuff like that. But physically, I don't know how they do 3 days in a row. But we did break JJ at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't like. This is like an Ironman triathlete, so super fit. So it was good. And we didn't break him. His kids broke him because they had been going for 3 days.
Yeah.
So
true.
kudos to them.
And it's amazing that they get up, they're like first chair, last chair. And I do not, like, I'm not first chair, last chair ever, period, anyway. And they're like, we're getting it. We're getting it. And then they go get it. In fact, they were laughing. They thought we were going to be there earlier. And we, dawdle around in the car and,
Eat donuts.
just jack around. And they're up there. And we pay for our tickets too. But we just don't have that go get it. And I'm sure it's because we get to go as many days as we want and because we live here.
Well, that's how they get good and stay, stay with it for 3 days, even though they're out of state. Like they care and they're not just like, I guess we're here for something. Like they want it, which I give kudos to for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's what makes skiing awesome is exactly like that, is that we love it, but we take it for granted. There's no way that, you probably anything you do 50 days a year at some level, you take it for granted, but they Yeah, they open to close, open to close, open to close. I do want to take Evan. He's the oldest in the family, and he's a U.S. Army Reserves, and he pushed the pace. Like, I could tell he
National
wanted to
Guard.
go faster. I want to take him to like a big mountain and try to break him.
Yes.
Because he's there's shorter runs at Loveland, but I think I want to take him to Copper Mountain and then like do some circles of death, which is like drain pipe far east, drain pipe reso,
Yes.
and he could
Go
handle
all the way
it, and
across
that's
the
what
mountain.
and that's what amazes me is somebody from Kansas on a snowboard who is legitimately good and always looking for that next jump, always looking for the fun turns. You can't shake him in the trees and stuff like that. So I'm impressed that people that don't live or ski, dozens of times a year can get that good. So impressive for all the Schuster family.
Definitely.
So after skiing, I was skeptical here. Like, I think we've talked about the importance of après skiing. So the Schusters are like, where are we going to après ski? And then I don't know if it was their idea or whose idea it was, but we went to Cabin Creek Brewery in Georgetown, Colorado.
I hadn't
And
even
it
heard of
was-
it before.
It's
It was
relatively new.
epic. It was
Got
at
it.
5 stars.
Yeah.
Like
5 stars,
amazing.
easy.
Amazing vibe, big windows, amazing view of Lake Georgetown. And then I wish I remember what it was called, but we had what they had on their menu, an American IPA.
For low?
For low.
Yeah, okay, that's right. And it was exceptional. If you like really
Yeah.
dank, deep, dark, dank, musty IPAs, that was it. It was
They even described it as dank themselves, didn't they, Dylan?
They did, yeah.
and I didn't. That was always a joke word that I didn't know that really was referred to as beer as much as other things. But it was fantastic, and then the food was fantastic. I had a prime rib French dip. It just all in all, great service, great vibe, great environment. And it reminded me of what après ski is supposed to be. We got a table for 10, which is incredible that you can pull that off. But then they have like, they had like this thing on the TVs, Alpine TV, which was like mountain biking and ski movies and stuff like that. And they were showing a movie it looked like they were building the lodge at Loveland. And it just
Nice.
reminded me of like what après ski used to be. And this was when I was a kid, and this was my parents driving this. They would drag us to the bar where they would drink beer and watch ski movies, and hopefully there was like video games or something. But awesome. Cabin Creek Brewery in Georgetown, Colorado.
Which also was
definitely-
awesome because of traffic.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was bumper to bumper, stop and go. We got off in Georgetown. There's a little dog park right there. Let the dogs out, and then went to Cabin Creek Brewery. And by the time we got back on the road, there was no more traffic. And if you're not from Colorado, I-70 traffic can be a drive home from Loveland could be an hour to like Golden, or it could be 4 hours. And so it's very extreme traffic problems. And yesterday being a Monday, I was a little bit surprised that it was as busy as it was. But back to Cabin Creek Brewery, kudos. I don't remember what you guys got.
I got the same. I got the dip, French dip.
It
I
was
got
really
the
good. And
Yeah.
tater tots.
Yeah,
Their
we
tater tots
shared
were
like a
exceptional.
loaded Colorado tater tots, which had like green chili. I would say it's a good
Those are
example of just like a classic Colorado mountain town restaurant with good beer, good food, good vibes. It was good.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got the pizza and they had a cauliflower crust, which I don't know, like I miss pizza. I can't do gluten anymore, which is really disappointing because that was a staple for me. More gluten, more gluten. So whenever I can get a pizza, I do. And they had a cauliflower crust Thai chili chicken pizza, and it was really good. It was
Nice.
really good for an adult.
Who
The
eats gluten-free?
11-year-old at our table was not impressed, and I don't blame him. But he was so excited to have a piece of my pizza, and I could see the disappointment on his face after he had one bite.
Just the color drained from his face.
So kudos to Loveland, Cabin Creek Brewery, both do a good job with customer service, making you feel welcome and stuff like that. And that's such a unique, for us, we usually ski resorts, which for better or for worse, but to instead of going to a resort where basically the chairlift and the restaurant are all run by the same company, we went to Loveland and then to Georgetown, Georgetown is looking up. You know,
Yeah.
there's a couple places there
It's
that
growing.
Look like
That's
they're
for
worth
sure.
hitting for.
Yeah.
So, and then holidays, Marcus is out of town, so no more skiing for Marcus. Dylan's going to be in
Yep.
Phoenix, so I don't think he's skiing. Do the passes
Nope.
get you on the Arizona Snow Bowl? I don't know if I don't think ours do.
I don't know. I feel like the closest thing might be Taos.
I've had a lot of people tell me
Ooh.
the Arizona Snow Bowl is way better than you would think. I haven't
Really?
skied there. I've driven by it and seen it, and it doesn't wow me from a distance.
It doesn't
Well, it's hard to tell because I
Look
don't think
good.
yeah, it doesn't. But I've had lots of quality skiers tell me the Arizona Snow Bowl. So Dylan, you might have to check that out because you guys are driving, so you'll go right by it if you do. If you
Yeah,
take
we're
the-
driving, notably
40
with my
to-
mountain bike. So it's going to be fun outdoor time no matter what.
Are you guys going to try to hit the bowl game? Are you there whenever the bowl game happens?
We did see it last year, and it was KU and someone else. I can't remember.
Did you go?
We did, yeah. It was awesome. It was at the, was it Chase?
Sundable Stadium,
the
right?
baseball stadium.
Oh,
It was epic. Yeah, it was a good time. We
Nice.
probably would if it. I don't know. Like KU's a big team in Kate's family, and if it's, I don't know if we'll go if it's not like a team that we like. But anyway, it was a blast.
Nice. So me and Mel will be here in Colorado. We're gonna ski Vail tomorrow, which is Christmas Day. So we're gonna try to do the in and out.
Nice.
Get up, get started before it gets too busy, and get out of there before it's too busy.
Vail.
And then we'll spend the night up in Summit County. So if it snows, then we'll ski on the 26th also. But who knows where?
Nice.
Maybe
but we are
Keystone.
going to hit the buffet, that buffet we talked about. That's so awesome.
Yeah, in Vail. We never can remember the name, but we will be going there tomorrow for Christmas breakfast. I'll try to
Nice,
get the
that'll be
name for the next episode.
Cool.
So I think Merry Christmas to everyone, and we'll try to hit up another episode after the holidays. I think we didn't talk enough about bar etiquette, but I think in the meantime, probably put the bar down on the chairlift for if you're not worried about falling off, but there might be somebody else on there that is. So consider that. Rather than just being snotty like we are when people say they want to put the bar down.
Well,
But-
to be clear, we're snotty to each other, to
each
ourselves.
other.
We're not snotty. If someone asks to put the
No.
bar down, we put it down
The-
every time.
You're right. And to be clear, we never, they don't know that we're
Yeah.
laughing at them. We're laughing with them.
Yeah.
But we do always put the bar down when people ask and stuff like that. But seeing more and more of these incidents, you do have to pay attention on the chairlift because you might be 100 feet off the ground. That's too much.
Yeah. And here's a note: if you ever need to adjust like a boot or something, obviously your weight shifts forward. Always grab the back of the chair. I mean, put the bar down, but always grab the back of the chair. Have a hold on something in case wind picks up or it stops suddenly. That your momentum is not all pushing you forward.
Yeah, that's good advice because they do have to emergency stop frequently. And if you're leaning forward and don't have the bar down, that's probably a top contender for going for a ride.
Yeah.
I'd like to throw it out there. It is a few days past Festivus was yesterday. So I'd like to say a happy Festivus in arrears. I'd like to say happy Hanukkah, which is also starting tomorrow night, and a Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Happy holidays, and we will talk to you hopefully before the new year.
Yeah. All right, Marcus, one last thing. You said you were taking your skis in to get mounted today. Are you still doing that? Was that all talk?
No, I need to. Kay took my car though, so I could load her car. So I need to drive over. I needed to drive into Boulder anyway because I'm taking it to Epic Ski Deals.
Ski deals.
So I need to drive into Boulder anyway. But she has my car, so I could load her car for the trip back home. So I'll drive in, grab the skis, like I'm stealing them out of the back of someone's truck, and then take off.
Well, we look forward to seeing his new skis mounted up, and by the time you get back, hopefully it'll be filled in and less rock damage.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think my current ones that I dubbed rock skis, even though they're 1 season old, are now officially rock skis.
Yeah, the last couple days make that that makes that official rock skis for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
That's it for How to Ski It. Follow us online or come skiing with us as the season heats up.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.